name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That is fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the ChannelMom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
Welcome back to the ChannelMom Show, where we're talking about relationships. How you talk to your teenagers about relationships, how you yourself relate in your own life. Maybe you're a single mom or a married mom and you want some advice on how to do this and how to talk to your kids about it. We're running the gamut here. We are with Tammy Borges, who is the executive director of the Center for Relationship Education. We're so grateful to have her. She's got so many. We really could do about 3 hours with you.
It would be fun.
Yeah, and you have your own radio show.
We do have our own radio show. It's called Get Real and Real Life Relationships.
Awesome. Wonderful. And hopefully I'm going to be on that show.
I just invited Jenny, so I can't wait. We're going to trade radio shows.
Exactly, we are. But we wanted to have a jumping off point for parents. I think if parents are listening and saying, oh yeah, easy for you to say, we should talk to our teenagers about sexual relations or about healthy relationships or not having sexual relations. How in the world am I going to do that? If only 24% do it, my guess is the other 76% are not jumping at, chomping at the bit to do it. So there is a step-by-step process.
Well, I think the first thing that parents need to know is the teens are waiting for you to talk. So it's not a closed door. Now, are your teens going to look at you in the eye and say, oh, great, this is what I've been longing to hear from you all day long. So guess what? Do it when you're driving in the car. Maybe they're looking out the window and they don't have to have that eye-to-eye contact. But what I'd like to say is encourage the lifelong conversation, which is where we were originally going with this. And if you've got a 9-year-old, it's perfect time to start talking. If you have a 13-year-old, it's a great time to start talking. If you have a 15-year-old, you better not waste any more time. Start talking. And Shelley was just saying during our break that just look at the media. You can have conversations there. I'll never forget, I tried to monitor TV for my 3 teen daughters, and yet Friends was so funny, but they had a lot of sleeping around in that show.
Yes,
remember that?
Yes.
And
they had a lot of sleeping around in most shows.
My couch was filled with teenage girls, and at commercial, I run in with a pillow, and I just said, oh, TV break, I just have to ask you, did any of them get tested for STDs? And I said it real quiet, and the pillow started being thrown off the couch at me. Mom, go away. Mrs. Borges, I can't believe you said that. And I thought, oh, man, I hope I haven't blown it. Go back. I'm making cookies, making food like you do for teens. And the girls slowly started walking in the kitchen. I can't believe you said that. That's so cool that you said that. So you know about that. So sometimes our teens don't even think we know about anything. So we got to start someplace, right?
Yeah, how do you think you got, no, well, you didn't get there by an STD, but how do you think you got here? Yeah, they don't like to think about that, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they plug their ears. They don't want to hear about mom and dad.
We still don't even your parents. Like, who wants to think about your parents?
Exactly. But they don't mind talking to you about it.
They don't mind talking to you about it. And one of the advices that we always give parents is start farther away. So how are the relationships with boys and girls in your school? Or how were they in that movie? Don't bring it so close to home until you develop through the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel? Do you ever feel like you want to go to prom or on a date and if they're already dating, do you ever feel like boundary setting is a problem? Could we talk about that?
Yeah.
So you move it from far away to up close and personal, but it's a gradual thing.
And I think they are a little bit more open to it if you've started it young. Like my son and I started it very young. So he's still pretty open about it. Even though he doesn't really want to talk to me much anymore at all, if that comes up, he's willing to talk to me about it. And he's so used to me saying, I really want you to wait because it's going to be better for your life, that he will now say to his other friends, you need to wait. It's going to be better for your life.
Right. And so, Jenny, do you tell him how it's better for his life?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us?
About how I did. Well, when I started it out with a talk when he was about 3rd grade, because he was an inquisitive little mind and he already wanted to know things like that, I did a little curriculum where I did pictures of him and sort of a whole little pamphlet.
Right.
Now, this takes a little time. But if you love your child, take 2 hours to put this together. I did pictures of him with little quotes. I happened to use 1 or 2 Bible quotes. But in these, it was photos of him playing baseball and things that he liked to do. And I tried to say that if you treat your life properly when it comes to your relationships, your dreams can come true. But if you decide to compromise your principles, compromise who you are by just diving into having sexual relationships and throwing girls left and right when you're 14 years old, none of this stuff's going to be possible.
So that's
you know what I
right.
mean?
That's right. When we raise the bar, they're able to obtain their dreams. So we've got to talk about positive things, not about, no, don't have sex. That's just negative. Who's going to listen to that? But what's all the good stuff that they're waiting? And I think parents fail to talk about the good stuff. They're just trying to get their kid not to do something.
Well, and I want to say something because we have about 5 minutes left and I want to hear what you say. And then I also want you to talk about marriage quickly. I do think, and by the way, I have to give my husband credit. He did help me on those things with our son. And when our daughter's coming up, we haven't done it yet. I think you wait a little longer with the girl. My daughter once crossed her legs and she said, she was like 3, and she said, Daddy, look, I know how to cross my legs now. And he said, yes, keep them that way until you're 30 years old. So at any rate, I think a lot of parents that I talk to, we live in such a tolerant world now where everything's tolerated. Nobody does wrong. Everything's good. Everything goes. That parents feel, I mean, I have friends who put their kids on the pill, their girls on the pill when they're 14 or 15, because they said, Jenny, come on, let's just be real. They're going to have it. So I want to make sure they're quote unquote protected. And, what am I going to say? Everybody's doing it. I did it, things like that. So parents give up and they also say, and what's the big deal? So people live together now more and things like that. And so I think people have just thrown up their hands and said, I just have to be tolerant. We just have to accept everybody's lifestyle. It's all going to work out in the end. And no, it's not. And so how do we get people to get to that place where they actually still have some absolutes?
Right. Well, research shows it doesn't all work out together in the end. And I won't take time and bore everybody, but they can Google research on marriage and longevity and the success that kids have when they have a mom and a dad that are staying married, and then their child can develop a healthy family formation as well.
Yeah. But tell me that one thing that you told me in the break about how the fact fewer people are getting married than ever before. That's one reason you do that Colorado Healthy Marriage Project, and people can look that up on your website as well.
Right.
But fewer people are getting married than ever before because they're cohabitating. What happens when people have a baby when they're cohabitating?
So research is just beginning to show, of course, research on cohabitation is a little bit new, but research is beginning to show that those couples that are cohabitating and then they have a baby, the dad is not around 2 years later as in an equal form as they are if they're a married couple. So if they're married and they have a baby, that child has more of a chance having his or her bio dad around at age 2. Yeah. So that's just scary. And I don't think women that are cohabitating are realizing without that firm commitment, they may be a single mom. Yeah. And we know the quickest way to poverty really, truly is to have a baby before marriage. That's the number one way.
It is.
It doesn't matter if you're black, white, purple. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Educated or not.
Educated or not. That is the number one way to enter into poverty. Do you guys remember that little jingle that we used to do jump rope to? Although you guys are younger than me.
No,
but
I remember it. You go ahead and say it.
So I'm going to use my daughter's name, but Keegan Ann Blake, sitting in a tree, Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Keegan out with a baby carriage.
Yeah.
And we taught them success sequencing. And now it's kind of like they have a buffet. We'll do whatever feels good right now.
Yeah.
And that's not good. We also know our teenagers want boundaries. They want.
Yes, my husband would tell you that as a high school principal. They crave boundaries.
They do. There was a study once where they had an elementary school, no fences. And the kids, where'd they play? They played right at the side of the school building. They built fences. Where'd they play? They had the whole territory. Kids don't know where to play unless we tell them where to play.
Yes.
And gradually the playground can expand, but when they're teenagers, they still need to know where the fence is. And they like that.
Yeah. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage. Somebody would laugh at you if you sang that to them now, unfortunately. Not everybody, but some people would.
Well, I don't think our kids even ever heard it.
Yeah. And by the way, never on this show are we condemning people. We understand people have gotten divorced. We understand people have made wrong decisions. I've certainly made wrong decisions in my life, so I'm not here to condemn you. We're just here to tell you what works.
Oh, certainly. And single moms are heroes of our time. Mm-hmm. Single moms are doing a great job raising their kids.
Yeah.
But statistics just show us it's easier for a family if a mom and dad are there.
Let me just briefly say this, that the first comes love, then comes marriage thing, and then you said leading to poverty. I saw a statistic the other day that said you're 82% less likely to be poor if you're in a married home. 82% less likely as a child.
Absolutely. I said, look up the research.
And
You're
so
right.
when I talked to my son and said, if you have certain dreams for your life, this is the pattern that you need to follow when it comes to relationships and sex, because those patterns will be interrupted if you make the wrong decisions in these areas. And it proves to be absolutely true. If a girl ends up getting pregnant, being a single mom, her child is 82% more likely to be poor. So what do you want to ask her about?
Really
dating?
about dating. The kids are wanting to date, and as a parent, you're like, no, not till you're ready to get married. But that's really not reality.
It's really not. It's not reality. I do think that Shelley, you do need to talk to your child about what is the purpose of dating. The true purpose of dating is to find what you like in a person and what you don't like in a person, and eventually what you like in a person to have a lifelong committed relationship, commonly known as marriage.
Yeah.
So the purpose of dating isn't just to mess around or fool around. It's to figure out, who am I? What do I like in a relationship and what I don't? And I think when parents set that up to have their child really look at that when they go out on a date, what worked well, what did I like, how comfortable was I, instead of being like, I just want to please her. What did you like about her? What did you not like about her? What did you feel comfortable with? What did you not? And then you need to set your boundaries. And do you want the goodnight kiss? Do you want to hold hands, or do you not want that on this first date? You're only 15 years old. And every family needs to come up when they're with the age of their kid. There's not a magic age, but what there is magic when parents are involved and ask the questions. But I don't want to leave our listeners with, I still didn't get enough information. So can I just tell them real quick, we do offer Get Real workshops. It's relationship education and leadership skills. We come to your home, believe it or not.
Awesome.
With 9 of your kids' friends. So if you get a group of 10 friends, we'll come to your home with one of our experts, and they will have a hands-on, high-energy, fun activity day, learning about relationships, learning about boundary setting, learning about refusal skills, learning about their own personality so they know, oh, this is why I don't really get along with this kind of personality. And then finally, learning and understanding the value of marriage and commitment. So
you do that. You do
that.
a healthy marriage project thing. You also have curriculums for schools and teachers if they want to incorporate this into their curriculum.
We do, and we train teachers all the time. We just had a training in Aurora with about 40 teachers, and that's successful, but that's still not covering all of our kids. And so, like, if Shelley's school doesn't have it in it for her son, call us up and we'll come to your home, to your clubhouse, and we can teach your son and 9 of his kids. And these workshops are just spreading like wildfire. They're kind of a grassroots effort.
And how do they get hold of you?
720-488-8888 or myrelationshipcenter.org.